blockchain and cryptocurrency. Two words that have redefined technology and finance. But where did it all begin? Today, we'll take you on a journey through time to uncover the fascinating history of blockchain and Bitcoin, from their origins in the 1980s to their impact today. The 1980s, cryptography and digital privacy. Our story begins in the 1980s, a time of technological innovation and the rise of the digital age. Computers were becoming more powerful, and the internet was on the horizon. But with these advancements came new challenges. How could people communicate securely in a world increasingly reliant on digital networks? In 1981, cryptographer David Chaum proposed a revolutionary idea. He introduced the concept of privacy-focused cryptographic protocols in his paper titled Untraceable Electronic Mail, Return Addresses, and Digital Pseudonyms. Chaum wasn't just theorizing. He had a vision of a digital world where individuals could protect their privacy using cryptography. And he didn't stop there. By 1983, Chaum invented eCash, one of the first digital currencies. Imagine, a form of money that allowed people to transact online without exposing their identities. It was decades ahead of its time, but its principles would inspire the decentralized systems we see today. At the same time, fiction was shaping our imagination of technology. In 1985, Neil Stephenson's novel The Diamond Age explored futuristic societies transformed by decentralization and advanced technology. The seeds of blockchain were being planted, not just in labs, but also in the cultural zeitgeist. The 1990s, rise of cypherpunks. As the digital world grew in the 1990s, so did concerns about privacy and control. Enter the cypherpunks, a group of technologists, activists, and cryptographers who believed in a world where technology could protect individual freedom. In 1992, the cypherpunk mailing list was created by Eric Hughes, Timothy C. May, and John Gilmore. This was more than a mailing list. It was a forum for some of the greatest minds in cryptography to discuss ideas that would change the world. In 1993, Eric Hughes published a Cypherpunks manifesto. In it, he declared, "Privacy is necessary for an open society in the electronic age." But this movement wasn't just about theory, it was about action. The cypherpunks started developing tools and technologies to protect privacy and decentralize power. Their vision wasn't just practical, it was visionary. That same year, Neil Stephenson's Snow Crash hit the shelves, introducing the term metaverse and describing a virtual reality world powered by decentralized systems. Stephenson's ideas were fictional, but they echoed the aspirations of the cypherpunks. In 1996, Timothy C. May wrote the Crypto-Anarchist Manifesto, predicting a future where cryptography would enable anonymous transactions and challenge traditional institutions. And in 1997, Adam Back introduced Hashcash, a proof-of-work system that laid the groundwork for future blockchain technology. By the late 1990s, key concepts of decentralization were falling into place. Nick Szabo proposed BitGold in 1998, envisioning a system remarkably similar to Bitcoin. And in 1999, Hal Finney developed reusable proof-of-work, a precursor to the cryptographic systems we use today. Together, these innovators and thinkers laid the foundation for the decentralized revolution. They didn't know it then, but they were creating the building blocks for blockchain and cryptocurrency as we know it. The 2000s. The creation of Bitcoin in response to the financial crisis. By the late 2000s, the world was facing one of the worst financial crises in history. Banks were collapsing, housing markets were imploding, and governments were scrambling to rescue failing financial institutions. The trust in centralized systems, banks, governments, and financial markets was eroding. This wasn't just an economic failure, it was a failure of trust. For decades, the global financial system had been built on centralized institutions. But in 2008, millions of people realized just how fragile and unfair that system could be. Banks that took reckless risks with other people's money were bailed out using taxpayer funds, while ordinary people lost their homes, jobs, and savings. It was clear something needed to change. Amid this chaos, a mysterious figure, or group, known as Satoshi Nakamoto emerged. On October 31, 2008, Nakamoto published a white paper titled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. This document proposed a radical idea, a decentralized digital currency that could operate without a trusted third party. No banks, no intermediaries, just a network of peers validating transactions through a new technology called blockchain. On January 3rd, 2009, the first Bitcoin block was mined. Embedded in the code was a message, a subtle but powerful critique of the financial system. The Times, 03 Jan 2009, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. Chancellor, this wasn't just a technical milestone, it was a statement of intent. Bitcoin wasn't just a new kind of money, it was a direct response to the failures of traditional finance. The genius of Bitcoin lay in its design. Instead of relying on a central authority, it used a process called proof of work, where miners competed to solve complex mathematical problems to validate transactions. Successful miners were rewarded with Bitcoin, creating an incentive to maintain the network. For the first time, people had access to a financial system that didn't require trust in banks or governments. Bitcoin offered transparency, security, and most importantly, decentralization. It was a revolution, not just in technology, but in philosophy, a movement toward financial sovereignty and freedom. But in 2009, very few people noticed. Bitcoin was still a niche project, understood by only a handful of cryptographers and computer scientists. Little did they know, this tiny experiment would grow into a global phenomenon, transforming the way we think about money, trust, and technology. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of blockchain and cryptocurrency. From the early dreams of cryptographers and cypherpunks to the creation of Bitcoin and beyond, this technology represents more than just innovation. It's a revolution. It's a movement built on the idea that trust doesn't have to be centralized, that power can belong to the people, and that our freedom can be protected through technology. Whether it's enabling financial sovereignty, protecting privacy, creating new opportunities for connection and innovation, blockchain is shaping a world where you, me, us, can live in an open and free world of our making. This is just the beginning. The story of blockchain is still being written, and its potential is limitless. What role will you play in this revolution? Thank you for watching, and we hope you now understand not just how blockchain works, but why it matters.